Good afternoon, all of us. Confirm if this Mkurugenzi is audible. Confirm if this Mkurugenzi is audible. Show for thumbs up if at all you're getting this Mkurugenzi. Great. Moment here we start this session. So welcome to this segment. I know it was on a very short notice, yeah. I know it was on a very short notice, but either way, it is for our own good, right? And it would be very bad if huyu mkurugenzi anaongea na wanafunzi wake and is not visible. So the link was shared. Lily, I think the link was shared in the group. Also, it can be reshared. It can also be reshared here. The link was shared in the group. Let me also try to reshare the link here so that maybe, yeah, you can share with your colleagues. A good idea. A very good idea. Yeah. So let me see. So someone can help me share the link, or the best way you can do. Let me just have this link pasted there so that you can share with your colleagues. There you go. It has been reshared. Lily, it has been reshared. Yeah. So today I'm having a date with you, and this date will be like a 1 hour, maybe a max of 4 hour date. And it's all about the best strategies, yeah, that you can always tend to adopt mostly in these August exams. I know a lot has changed. And of course, for those who have been attending our classes, Molimo has always been communicating about these changes, yeah. So today's segment, I know you're you're looking at some few days to exams, but of course, what you're going to share today, it might bring a lot of changes, yeah? It might bring a lot of changes because these are some of the common mistakes that students normally tend to make unknowingly, right? You get a student making a mistake, in this case, the kind of thing that these are normal, but it is a mistake that, of course, they normally tend to make. And amongst the greatest change, of course, is what KASNEB implemented, of course, from last sitting on how the papers are being marked. See, so it would be very ideal if at all we have these strategies and concepts right, so that whenever you are preparing to go to that paper, what are some of the things that you are supposed to do and what are the things that you are not supposed to do? Yeah, because I know right now we are on the tail end. Yeah, you've prepared the best that you can prepare. So what has remained is what is the best strategy that you're now going to apply in that exams. Molimo at this point won't be guiding us on what you are supposed, or rather what you ought to have supposed to be doing all through the semester. Saizi ni masaa ya nini? Masaa ya kuokoa semester, including what you're going to do in that exam. See. So right now, I want to take you in the exam room, right? I want to take you first of all. I'm having like 4 strategies that I'll guide us, of course, before we jump to what was Salga, right? I know you know what Salga is, yeah? Before we jump to what was Salga, I want to guide you on 4 key strategies while in that exam room. Right now, you are in that exam room, what are you supposed to do? That is what, of course, Mwalimu will be guiding us in this session. So, number one aspect that we should be familiar with is that on the marking process. Recall from last sitting, marking is on conveyor belt, right? When I'm talking about conveyor belt, it's not like before, whereby one person was marking all the one paper full. Like maybe I'm having, say, person X. Previously, it was one marker who was marking all the questions. From last sitting, that is the paper that were marked from April. It is a conveyor belt. Conveyor belt in a sense that each question is marked with a different marker. The reason why you're observing that nowadays, of course, the results are being released very fast, right? Within 2 weeks, within 2.5 weeks, you have your results. So the exams are marked in a conveyor belt in a sense that each question is marked by one marker. Like, for example, maybe these are a FAR you're doing, so you'll find that I'm going to mark question number 1, I pass it to the other person who's going to mark question number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, up to number 5. See, so that is what we're here about conveyor belt. And at this point, it has its advantages and it has its disadvantages. So let us see, what are you supposed to do while in that exam room? Number 1 is choices, selection of questions. That is number 1 thing that we need to, first of all, make sure that we are always very good at. Selection of choices. Of course, that is after you prayed, right? Before on that exam room, you may tell your paper there. You know, the first thing you must pray, right? Pray so that Mungu akufungulie nini? Mungu akufungulie macho uone sawa sawa. You must pray, of course, to seek for guidance and, of course, so that God can give you his wisdom as well. So after that prayer has been done, we read about selection of questions. See, one mistake that a lot of students normally tend to make, I don't know if it's because of lack of knowledge or I don't know what normally happens. In this case, know that it is not a must for you to start with question number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that sequence. It is not compulsory that given the question that you're given, so you start with question number 1, question number 2, question number 3 in that sequence. That's not a must. So the first step to succeed in that paper is how do you make your selection? The question that you're going to start with up to the question that you're going to end with. So this is the best thing that you must always tend to make sure that you do. In that exam room, you've been given a question. Number 1 step, that question paper is yours. Yeah? Do with it whatever that you want to do with it. So by saying this, what does Mwalimu mean here? We are looking at a point whereby do a scan, quick scan. This might take you like 10 minutes, but it will be worth it. Do a quick scan. This might take you like 10 minutes, but worth it. It will be worth it in a sense that whenever you're having, of course, that paper, right? Go to question number 1. Try to scribble, not trying, but you just scribble some points. Yeah, just scribble some points. Let me share these so that you can be able to understand what Mwalimu here is saying. In this case, maybe assuming you're dealing with which question, we can pick, let me just share my word. I can demonstrate this. See, for example, maybe you're given, say, like, so you're dealing with, here are the questions. That is question number 1, question number 2, question number 3, here, see, question number 4 in that sequence, question 5 there, see. So what is the best thing that you need to do? The first thing to do is talk about scribbling the points. In a sense, that this is a question number 1, right? So question number one, you scribble the points. Scribble your points, scribble your points, scribble your point. If at all there's a need of you putting a formula, put a formula there. Go to question number two, scribble the point, you scribble the point. You're just scribbling some points there. See, question number four, the same case, scribble the point. In this case, you're doing on your question paper. In this case, what you're doing it on your question paper. This is the first 10 minutes as you're scanning your paper. See, as you're scanning your paper, these are what you're doing. See, this is what you're doing. Yeah, this is what you're doing. You scribble the points. You scribble the points. You scribble the points. I know they normally tend to tell you not to write because they think that you might share with your fellow students. But Mwalimu is telling us that will cost you nothing. You scribble at that point. So long as you don't share with your colleague. Right? So long as you don't share with your colleague. That question paper is yours. And there's no instruction in that paper that has been written. Do not write on this paper. Right? So in this case, you scribble the points at that point. So once you scribble your points, these will enable you to know the question that you're going to start with. See, so like at this point, you're having question number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Based on this scribbling, remember what you're scribbling, these are points that you have. Maybe question number 1 has part A, part B, part C, where you required formula, you put your formula. Question number 2, the same case. Question number 3, question number 4, out to question number 5. So once you're done with scribbling, remember this is taking you like a max of say like 10 minutes or so. See? So once you've scribbled this, you realize that how are you going to start, or what is the best question that you're going to start with? The question that you're going to start with is the question that you realized you have a lot of points. Say question 5, you realize that out of whatever that you've done there, maybe question number 5 is the one that will give you a lot of points. So what are you going to do? Start with that question. See, question number 5 is the one that is giving you a lot of points. Go and start with that question. Yeah? Go and start with question number, say 5, the one that is giving you a lot of points. Come in, so long as your presentation is clear, go and write question number 5 on top there, showing the person who will be having your paper that, you know what, the question that I'm handling is question number 5. Clarity. Clarity. Clarity is key. This is question number 1 that I'm doing. So give question number 5. That was your best question that you realized that had a lot of points. Go to question number, say question number 3 was your second best. Question number, say 4, in that order. Question number, say 1, and maybe question number 2 in that order. See, so what you're doing in this case, you are creating an impression, first impression, right? We normally tend to say like, there's no second chance for first impression, right? You don't have a second chance for first impression. You don't have a second chance for first impression. So in this case, you'll find that if you start with your good or your best question, already in this case, you've created a good impression. And remember, even markers, they are human beings, yeah? They talk in the room. Like, I'll be like, this student has done very good in this question. And remember, already by just saying like that, for example, and the other, of course, colleagues are there, they're listening. There's an impression that I'm already giving unto them. Even if at all I'm receiving this paper, this person, based on the first comment, this student is doing a good work. See, so already the first question has kind of convinced this person who is having your paper. So that in that case, earning maximum points as much as you can. So you realize that by starting with the best question, in this case, already an impression has been created. And in that case, you realize that you're going to earn good marks. See, by just creating that impression. So selection of choices, you don't need to, it's not compulsory or it's not mandatory that you start with question number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in that sequence. You do a scan, the way Mwalimu was advised us. The moment you're done with the scan, start with your best question, because it is in your best question there's a very low probability that your best question you're going to leave a blank space because you had identified by doing what? By scribbling the points there. That will help you a lot. So that is strategy number one, selection of choices. That will be your first step towards passing that paper. That will be your first step towards passing that paper. Higher. Once you're done with the aspect of selection, in this case, you proceed now to how do you go about answering the questions. I think this one I've shared with you guys as many times as possible. I'm not going to stop sharing. I'll still share again. In this case, in all the papers that we'll be doing, both quantitative statement papers, we know very well that we have two categories of questions. Yeah, in all the questions that you're going to do, we know very well that we have two categories of questions. Yeah, two categories of questions. Can I start with question 5B, then 5A? No. Loudness, if you do that, what you're telling me in this case, you're not an orderly person. So that is also an impression, a very bad impression that you can create. So in this case, if at all question number A has an issue or you cannot handle it, you just mark question number 5A, do what you can do, then at least a point, leave a space, go to 5B. Go to 5B in that order. Don't like start with, say like if you're having 5A, 5B, you're starting with 5B. No, in that case, first of all, you utakasirisha kwanza, first you need your paper. See, leave a space, go to B, like that in that sequence. Okay, so always make sure that you have in that case. So at that point, once we have that case, selection of choices, that is key and very important. Make sure we master that. Higher. We go to this theory that I know there's always been a theory that when probably a paper has not been performed well, at marks will be below 50%. Hiyo ni ndoto ya mchana. See, at no any given point will pass mark be below 50%. At no given point. I'm going to explain that as we proceed. So we go to the second hack. The second hack, these are we are looking at it in do your research, or you can scan the questions that you're having. We have three modes, yeah, as maybe two modes. We're having the theory part and the computation part. So when you're looking at the theory part, these are very easy paper, or when we are talking about areas that you can impress the person who's having your paper very easily. You're given theory. Theory has 4 segments. Theory, all the theory questions, whether you're doing full theory or whether you're doing theory in part of the computation, they always tend to have four sections. Let me share with us. Let me share with us here. So for theory part, this is what you're having. Get this one right. Theory, Morim is saying, we read about 4 areas. Theory always has these 4 segments. Number 1, when you are analyzing the theory part has these 4 segments. Number 1, you'll be told to state, okay? You'll be told to state. Then number 2, of course, you'll be told to do what? That is number 1, state something. Number 2, you'll be told to either explain, see, explain. Number 3 here, you'll be told to describe. Number 4 here, you'll be told to do what? To distinguish or give the difference here. Yeah, distinguish or give what? Give the difference here. Distinguish between point A and point B, or give the difference. All theory has these 4 segments: state, explain, and distinguish. This is what you should know. For the first 3, there's always one secret. This secret will always tend to help you. There's one secret that will always tend to help us a lot. For the first three, state, explain, describe. Always, as much as possible, avoid answering these on paragraph form. Akili tu ikigonga paragraph, kemea hiyo pepo. Yeah? Kemea hiyo pepo. Whenever you're doing this and akili nakwambia atiandika na paragraph, kemea hiyo pepo. Yeah? Sema pepo mbaya, sikutaki, kemea that pepo. Anytime you are having these questions and your mind is telling you to write or to answer in paragraph, kemea that pepo, right? Sema pepo mbaya shindwa. The best way you can always tend to answer, or the best way you can always tend to make sure that, number one, you've impressed the examiner, because recall, in that exam, what are you doing? You have one task: to seduce the person who is having your paper. That is your goal. As much as you're very smart, as much as you're very good, you have one goal: to seduce the person who is having your paper. So, what is the best way to handle the theory part? Recall, this applies in all, whether you're doing a theory full question like LM, company law, or whether you're handling a theory in FM, you're handling a theory in MA. The best hack will always be, always adopt pointer forms. Always adopt answering in pointer forms. Say, for example, you've been told to explain maybe a certain element, or maybe give 4 advantages of ICT, or whichever item that you've been asked, either state, explain, or describe. What are you going to do? Number one, in this case, if at that point maybe you need to give your point on either, first of all, maybe you can come and you're answering a question. Say convenience. Say convenience, advantages of technology here. You're about maybe convenience here. Say about convenience here. Then under convenience, kuja patiana story yako. Patiana all the story that you want to give us. Patiana all the story that you want to give us here. Give all the story that you want. So long as the first point has clearly stated what you want to explain. Say, go to point 2. Maybe point 2 you're about what? Say like effective, for example. Point 2, effective. Give all the story that you want to give below effective. Give all the story that you want to give below effective. Say, give all the story. What you're doing here is to make sure you are making and you're giving this person who is having your paper an easy work. An easy work in a sense that, look at this case. This student who has done or who has presented his work in this manner. Convenience, or maybe you are answering in pointer and I'm explaining whatever that I have stated there. Clearly, the point has already been seen. So compare this with this other student whereby he has given a question, say like he has been asked advantages of technology. Then this student give this in this manner. Number one, advantages of technology. Hizo ni paragraph anapatiana. Yeah? Hii ni paragraph anapatiana paragraph. So what you are doing in this case, you are telling the person who is having your paper that go and check my point in that paragraph. Go and check my point on that paragraph. Who has that time? Who has that time to go and check your answer in the paragraph? You know, if at all this question was allocated 8 marks, trust me, the maximum you can get maybe is 2 or maybe 3 marks. Because this person won't have a time to go and try to read all your paragraph, trying to take your point there. You find that this student is very good. He has been very good in class. He has been very good in class. He has been assisting even the fellow students. But when the exams comes on Opata Labda, he hasn't passed or she hasn't passed. The reason is not that this person didn't know what he or she was doing. The reason probably will have been in regard to presentation. So I am insisting that whenever you're answering your questions in these three segments, state, explain, describe, try as much as possible, give your points, or rather to give your answer in pointer forms. It will help you a lot. It will help you a lot. Higher. We are now on the other point where we're talking about what? The other aspect of distinguishing. Yeah? Distinguish between A and B. Distinguish between C and D. Give a difference between A and B. Such questions, again, avoid paragraph. I've told you, whenever you're in that exam, then you kind of feel your mind is telling you to answer in paragraph form. Mwalimu is saying, kemea hiyo pepo. Hiyo ni pepo mbaya, right? A village elder is sitting somewhere there on the mirror, right? A village elder is somewhere there in the mirror. Kemea that pepo. Kemea that pepo. So the best way to always answer the question of distinguishing is using a table format. See, using a table format. Using a table format. You can have point of difference, okay? Have point of difference. For example, at that point, you need to answer, have point of difference. In regard to that, you can, at this point, say have A, have B. This is how you are answering the question where you're told differentiate between A and B, or give a difference between C and A, whichever item that you've been asked to distinguish. Even if you don't know, maybe that question is somehow complicated, you don't know where you're going to start from, you just have this table. And always, the trick will always be, in all the questions that you're doing, for differentiating, number one, it will always be about definition, right? Number one, definition, a point of difference. For example, here, you're giving a point of difference here. Say, for example, definition. Okay. Have definition. You come and give, of course, that's the point of difference. You see, the person who's having your paper already has identified, that this good student, he has given me a main point. The main point of difference here is definition. So even if at all, assuming maybe you miss something here, this person might overlook. Say, this person might overlook because already you clearly told me that, you know what, there is a point of difference that I'm giving you, which is definition. Say, go to the other point, maybe aspect of nature. Difference, nature, particular your point there. Say, give your point there, give your point there. You know, it's always about impression. It's always about convincing the person who's having your paper. Say, so doing this already, you'll be in a good position to make sure that you secure as many points as possible, compared to a student who will be answering the questions in paragraph form. So that is a hack that Mwalimu will tend to share with us when it comes to answering the theory part. So we've talked about selection. We've talked about the best case to select the question. We've talked about how to answer the theory part. Let me do a very quick tour in terms of computation. I'll just give, of course, a general hack and the best way that you can always tend to handle computation part. Probably no less is a question here. No less is a question. Bernard, if at all you're having a question, kindly go ahead and ask. Mwalimu will try as much as possible to help us here. Bernard is asking that David, Lily, BDA, that is my specialty, Abisa. BDA I have to share. That will be a special class. BDA and leadership and management. I'll organize a very good session, actually either today or tomorrow, to guide us on specific areas, but I'll give in general terms. So Lily, don't worry, Mwalimu will share with that. So when they say start every question on a new page, what do they mean? Can I have 5A and 5B on the same page? Definitely yes. What they mean in this case, advice would be question 5. If at all you're done with question number 5, going to question number 4 or going to question number 3, don't start question number 3 on half of the page where you cleared question number 5. Question number 5 is done, go to the other page. Question number 5 has A, B, and C. All of them can be done within the same page. But now, if I tell you jump in to select question number 3, that's the point whereby you need to go to another page. So that's how they normally tend. That's how it's supposed to work. Bernard. So let me jump to the general aspect of computation. Computation, recall, we have 2 forms. Yeah. When you're talking about computation, we'll always be talking about 2 forms: quantitative and statement papers. Statement papers are the easiest papers to pass without a lot of hassle. Statement papers are financial reporting, advanced financial reporting, taxation, talk about advanced taxation, talk about financial accounting. These are the easiest papers that you can pass without a lot of sweat. Yeah, without a lot of sweat. I'm going to share the strategy and I'll explain why Mwalimu is saying these are the easiest paper to pass. Okay. So let us go to computation part. Okay. Now you're handling computation. Here. So let me share this as well. Computation, we said we are looking at 2 angles. Okay. We are looking at, number 1, talk about their statement papers. Okay. Talk about the statement papers here. We're having the statement papers. These are the first component of computation. Statement papers are like papers like we said, talk about FR. In this case, we are looking at FR. Talk about PFT. We are looking at advanced taxation. We are talking about aspect to do with financial accounting. See, these are simply, of course, the aspect of the statement papers. And these are the easiest papers you can pass without a lot of hassle. Number 2, we are looking at quantitative. Yeah, we are looking at now the quantitative paper. Yeah, the quantitative papers here. Quantitative papers. So quantitative papers, these are papers like talk about we have FM, we have Probe FM, we have in QA, we have in MA, we have in advanced MA. See, these are literally quantitative papers that you can talk about. So we start with the statement papers. So for statement paper, why is Mwalimu saying that these are the easiest papers to pass? Why is Mwalimu saying this? Mwalimu is saying this because, number 1, in this case, you'll find that whenever you hear about computation, yeah, for the statement papers, be sure that for theory, you're going to get give it a minimum of 30%. Give it a minimum of 30%, the theory area, right? When you're looking at now the area of computation, you'll get 70%. So what do you need to know? Even if at all you've not studied the whole semester, is when you want to study right now. The best hack, this is always the best hack for statement papers. You'll be very good with the formats. Wewe kuwa tu sawa na formats. Just like that. If at all, for example, maybe you're reading about a FR, do you have the format of income statement? Do you have this format of the statement of financial position? In this case, if at all maybe you're dealing with aspect of reorganization or a company reconstruction, or maybe you're dealing with partnership, do you have, of course, the aspect of the main accounts, like realization accounts? See, have the format at the back of your mind. You just have the format. The reason why we are talking of this, you'll find that if you have the formats right, if a question is given, say like 15 marks, I can assure you, my good students, that out of 15 marks, you have like 8 free marks. 8 free marks, or even up to 10 free marks. Because for these statement papers, you'll find that there'll be some workings, say for example, like you're asked to maybe compute goodwill, and maybe you're asked to compute retained earnings that you're dealing with consolidation, retained earnings to be reported in our SFP, or maybe NCI to be reported in our SFP. See, in this case, these specific items, if a question was 15 marks, these major workings that will take you like 40 or even 30 minutes to do a major working. Imagine you're doing all that for 3 marks maximum. You're doing all that for 3 marks for each component, meaning that in totality, you are looking at, say, like 5 marks. See? Yet, there are other 10 marks which you can get very easily. Story na kubalance, hiyo tunaacha class. It was for the purpose of us gaining the knowledge. Yeah? While you're gaining the knowledge in class, things had to balance. See, hakuna vile mwalimu anafanya kitu alafu ikose kubalance na mko class. See, so hiyo unaachia class. At this point hapa, it is you and time. Time is your only enemy in that room. Time is your only enemy in that exam room. So what maneno ya kubalance, we balance achia class. Wachana nayo, you'll be balancing it in class. What you need to concentrate here is to maximize the points. See, maximize the points. In this case, you'll find that a lot of questions for statement, you'll always be having a lot of free marks, so long as you're good with the format. If at all you're dealing with taxation, do you know how to go about gross profit approach? Do you know how to go about reported profit approach? Where you need workings, so long as you realize that this question will take a lot of your time in terms of workings, you input all direct entries. Input all direct entries, workings achana nayo, you'll come and do them when you're having time. You're really about major workings. Of course, there are some slight workings which you can do with your calculator. There are very slight workings that you can do with your calculator. Those don't do. But those that will require major workings, go achana nayo, balance to the achana class, and when you're getting the knowledge. So right now, the strategy is, how do you pass? That is the strategy. For knowledge purpose, everything was supposed to be done right. See, for passing exams, it's all about strategy. And as Morimu is saying, at this point, you realize that the only enemy is time. So for statement papers, kindly adopt that strategy, and I'm very sure it will always tend to help us. Maximize on theory. In this case, come and go about what? Come and input direct entries, so long as you have the format right. That will help you when it comes to statement papers. So I always believe that statement papers, these are papers that you can pass easily without a lot of struggle, so long as you're good with the formats. That is the only secret here. Of course, I'll share a video that I've dived deep into the statement papers. The video is on my YouTube channel. I'm going to share it. Then you can check deep how to go on each and every element of the statement. We are looking at quantitative papers. These papers, I'll be honest with us, these papers are slippery. If in terms of solving them, if at all you've not kind of plan yourself clearly. Not slippery because it is hard, no. It is slippery because you'll find that, say for example, maybe you're dealing with FM. FM, you're given, say, like question number 1, A, you are required maybe to compute what? Compute, say, like NPV. Part B, you are required, say, to compute what? Part B, you are required to compute IRR. Say, part C, maybe you're asked to compute, say, like PI, profitability index, for example. Say for example, you're asked to compute your PI. Say, this is a case scenario. You'll find that the moment you have messed in NPV, that is to say probably present value are not correct, chances are IRR will not be correct, and also PI will not be correct. See, this is how the quantitative papers usually are. You're asked point A in PV, point B, IRR, point C, PI. Once you messed on one area, you'll find that the other area will not get correct. But that shouldn't worry you. I'm going to give you the best way that you can always tend to handle such. Or maybe, given a case, maybe you're told to compute, say like, what are you told? Maybe you're told to compute, say like number one, KE, see, cost of equity, for example. Number two, maybe you're asked to compute, say like KD, see? Or maybe you're told to maybe compute cost of preference shares. Then this part, you're told to compute WACC or WMCC. See? That is to say, the moment you messed on KE or KE, that is to say WACC will not be correct. The moment you mess on one item, you'll find that it will affect the second part. So, at what point, or what is the best way to handle questions for quantitative papers? This applies to FM, MA, talk about QA. How are you supposed to handle this? The best strategy will always be, and for those who have attended the classes, of course, Mwalimu has always been sharing with us this, always since we started the semester. The best way you can always tend to answer such question will always be when you're given a question, say for example, you're asked to work out K, KE. Kindly, if possible, give the formula first. Come and show the examiner that you attended class, haukusoma kwa mstuni, you know what you're doing. Give a point like, I asked to compute KE. Give the formula for KE. Go to the second step. I'm asked to compute KD. Even if at all the variables are kind of so mixed up, you give the formula. Give the formulas, give the formulas. Then the other area that, assuming the question is so hard that maybe you cannot be able to handle, but you know the formula, the best way would always be come and write the variables down. See, you know, what am I required to have in KE? I know very well I should be having market price per share. I know very well I should be having the growth rate. I know very well at this point I should be having the dividends. You mark. See, like in this case, unaonesha examiner, at least you know what you're doing. See, sindoyo KE, you're required to do, you've given the formula first. Your question imekuwa mzito, you are not able to understand what has been used there. You come and give the examiner, I know growth, I know I'll be required to have growth somewhere. I know I'll be required to have market price per share. I know I'll be required to have, say, like, if at all I'm having flotation cost. You come and mark these variables down. You come and mark variables down. What is ziekelee hapo? Ziekelee hapo, go to the next bit, go to the next bit. In this case, you realize that as much as the question is somehow challenging, you'll find that you'll be getting some points here. If this was given, say, like 3 marks, and at least you show the formula, and at least you've indicated some variables here, the examiner will be lenient enough, even if at all you're not going to get the right answer. If at all it was given 3, you might end up getting, say, like 2 marks, or even 1 mark. In this case, the same case, you end up getting some points. Other than you given a question, you just want to start working it out. Hapo utatoka bure mkurugenzi, yeah? Utatoka bure mkurugenzi nakwambia. So the best way will always be, you have the formula. Put the formula there. Put the formula there. Put the variables. Put the formula. Put the variables. After ikiwa ngumu, you've not been able to handle it. You won't get, like, even if at all, if assuming it was out of 8 marks, everything, you might end up getting a half. See, you might end up getting a half by simply using the trick of giving the formula and using the trick of what? Of putting the variables down. That will help us a lot. That will help us a lot. That will help us a lot. Mwalimu had given us 1 hour. I can see I'm remaining with only 10 minutes. So, not going deeper, of course, I'll be sharing some more videos on this, which we're having them on our YouTube channel, which you can check them out. But this is the best strategy. Because recall again, at this point, you also have what? We also have theory. Maximize on the theory, maximize on these simple tips that Mwalimu is giving us. Okay, higher. The next thing will always be, of course, in this case, the next thing will always be a point whereby I'm having a case, or we are in a position whereby a question has been so complicated to students that majority have not been able to handle it. See, hapa mbele theory, a myth, I normally call it a myth. Like, mnaambia huku nje, unajua pepa ikiwa ngumu, pass mark inarudishwa chini. Hiyo ni uongo. Mnadanganywa, kurugenzi. Hakuna siku pass mark ya KASNEB, it will be below 50%. There's no day that pass mark will be below 50%, regardless of how the question probably has been challenging. No, what normally tends to happen is what we normally call it, my video is coming on in a moment. What normally tends to happen is what we normally call it reallocation of points, right? This is what normally tends to happen. There's no point that your pass mark would be below 50%. What normally happens is reallocation. I'm going to explain this aspect of reallocation right now. Reallocation normally happens in this manner. Yeah, this is how reallocation normally tends to happen. You're given a question, or maybe we're handling a question, then you find that probably question number, say like question number 3, see, or maybe as any question, say question number 4, has been a challenge to majority of the students, and watu wameona giza totoro hapo, right? Wakurugenzi ni giza tu walikuwa wanaona, yeah? Ni rumors, mbali na ukweli ndio walikuwa wanaandika. See, kurugenzi wanaandika tu rumors, mbali na ukweli, yeah? Giza tupu. See, so when such happens in an exam, the case that happened in December sitting, I know December sitting 2025, watu wanapata people wamepita wanasema we enyewe KASNEB wana reduce pass mark. It's not like that. What normally happens is reallocation. See, reallocation in a case that at this point probably you're having say like question number 3. Question number 3 has A, has B. So this is question number 3 has A, has B, has C. This question maybe is almost 20 marks total, right? Then what happened is that maybe question number B and C has been quite a challenge. See, maybe question number B and C has been quite a challenge. Question B will say like 8 marks. See, question C will say like 10 marks. This is just an example here. See, this is just an example here. 10 marks. See? So what normally happen in this case, these part B and C, wakurugenzi waliona giza totoro, labda hata giza kushinda totoro, right? What normally happen in that, there will be reallocation of points. Say for example, this is question number 4, or maybe I'm having question number 2, or maybe whichever question that I'm going to pick. So in this question, you realize that I'm going to pick some questions on other questions. I'm going to pick some marks on other questions. Say here I give say like 3. The other case I give say like 4. Say, so this question, instead of 10 marks, it will end up having what? 17 marks. See? And probably this question, instead of 8 marks, it will end up say having like 12 marks. See? So that any maximum, they'll always tend to give maximum possible marks. See, we normally call it on MPS, maximum possible marks. Yeah, maximum possible marks in a sense that any attempt on B or C, any reasonable attempt, yeah, usichore hapo cartoon alafu unasema hiyo ni attempt, yeah, any reasonable attempt, in this case, you're going to get maximum possible marks. So that if it has been reallocated 17, maximum possible marks can be, say, like 13 marks, or maybe it can be 14 marks, depending on how they are going to give a guide. In this case, maximum possible marks, maybe it would be 10. Any reasonable attempt. So that you'll find that a person, mtu alitoka pale akisema, hii paper kusema ukweli, I'm going to redo it next semester. The person has maybe referi umpeleka kwa wall kabisa, or referi push kabisa. This person will be like, kusema ukweli paper, nenda kurudia. Anaanza kujipanga even kulipa fee kurudia that paper. When the results are announced, munasema ni miracle. Miracle has happened. Yeah. At times, yes, we do believe in miracle, but such cases, this person maybe had attempted a question that it was somehow complicated to so many people. And the reason why you'll always be advised to do it, attempt all questions. And what normally happens, you realize that one thing that I normally tend to feel so bad to majority of the students, like selection of questions. You find that a student maybe had started with question number 1, question number 2, question number 3, unaambiwa, like, say, for example, 1 hour remaining, or maybe 30 minutes remaining. Yeah, 30 minutes remaining, kale kajasho kanaanza kutoka mapua. See, the dotted sweat. Mvua inanyesha lakini unatoa jasho kwa mapua, right? Mvua inanyesha nje lakini unatoa jasho kwa mapua. You see, once you reach that level, yeah, wewe unajuanga tu like hapa maneno ni mbaya. And probably question number 4, if you had attempted it, you could have earned maximum possible marks, or even question number 5 was the simplest question. And that's why I started by, first of all, selecting the best questions, selecting your best question to start with. So you'll find that all times, in the event that a certain question probably it has been complicated to so many students, there's always the allocation of marks. But no time will pass mark be below 50%. That mwalimu can assure us right now and here. These are some of the main tips. If I told you get, I wish you could be having time. I could have jumped deeper into other things. So at this point, these were the three main tips. If I told you are able to make sure that you grasp clearly, they'll help you a lot. And of course, I know the next question Mwalimu will ask. Some are asking, Mwalimu, what are the possible areas? There are model papers, of course, that Mwalimu shared, and I know they are all over, right? The model papers that normally tend to design and share. These model papers, they normally tend to give us a glimpse on the concepts, not question, yeah? A glimpse on the concept, yeah? I know there's always a rumors out there that in darasa wanafunga na leakage. Hapana, in darasa we usually don't have leakage. What normally happens is that these are just concepts that normally tend to share. See, so based of course on our lecturers' experience on the ground and the way they have normally tend to do the things, we just normally tend to see the trend. See, trend, we come up with high probability areas. This is what we normally use to develop the block model papers. Then from the block model papers, of course, those who have attended class, you know whatever that Mwalimu has been sharing in class, that one, you have it. So in this case, we just try to come up with the concepts that we think might be tested. So you check out the block model papers. How the concepts they are in. There are those high priorities that Mwalimu had shared. Sorry guys, only that I promised you 1 hour. 1 hour has elapsed. So as I'm concluding, you find that there are those high priority areas that Mwalimu had mentioned. You guys can share with your, Mwalimu is giving us permission. You can share with your colleagues, probably those who are not at Darasa. You can share with them the high priority areas that Mwalimu had been sharing in class. You discuss. The goal is for us to do it, for all of us to pass these exams. That is the main goal, for all of us to pass these papers. So on that case, I have a date with leadership and management students, the best hacks for leadership and management students. And I'm also having, of course, I'm also having a session with BDA students where we'll be diving deep into specific areas, and mostly for those who are preparing for these coming exams, we'll be having a session with you guys, LM students and BDA students, to dive deep into, of course, specific areas that we need to be very good at. So at this point, of course, this is what Molim wanted to share with us. You try to master these tips, and maybe before I close, I wish to open question session, of course. Lazima, in the next like 5 minutes, you can ask questions where Molimu or where you need clarification, Molimu to guide us. Any question? We'll always pray. Definitely we'll pray. Our prayer day should be on a Saturday or Sunday. We'll be having a prayers day for all the students, either on Saturday or Sunday. Of course, that should be communicated. Any question you wish to ask Molimu, if there is any question? Great. So you guys take advantage of whatever that Molimu has shared with us here, and I know they will help us a lot. Alafu pia kuwakumbusha, right? Kwa nini almost I forgot this one. So at this point, remember, after you're done with the exams, right? On the 24th this month, we have organized these are very exclusive training for Power Business Intelligence and Advanced Excel. If at all you want to make sure that you're not just with the accounting skills, you want to make sure that you have extra skills that will help you, mostly for those students who would be doing BDA. Anyway, all of us at some point will be doing BDA later on. Advanced Excel, Power Business Intelligence, you're not supposed to miss this training. Yeah, exclusive training. And recall, we're starting on 24th. We are almost feeling this time we are going to cap the number. We've been opening, but this time, of course, you're going to cap the number to limit those who are attending the classes. Of course, you reach out. In this case, at any given point in time, our number is syndicated there. Reach out, and we are going to guide you on how you can join these skill trainings, which will be starting on the 24th. That is pure Power Business Intelligence. We dive deep, and of course, looking at Advanced Excel, we dive deep, and Taxation Masterclass, we also dive deep into these classes. So make sure you reach us out if at all you want to attend this training. And I'm very sure there are so many testimonies out there who have attended this session. They'll always boost you at any given point in time. So guys, I wish you all the best. As you go to this paper, remember one thing: nothing is hard so long as you're having what? The right strategies. And recall, you don't have a second chance for the first impression. You don't have a second chance for the first impression. I believe this class, I believe the session has been helpful, right? I believe the session has been helpful, and I know you guys have gotten some insights here and there. So wish you all the best, and I hope to connect with you, of course, in the trainings that are coming, our semester, which will be beginning on 4th of September. I really hope to connect with you guys. Mostly for those who are not joining Darasa, I wish to connect with you guys. Thank you so much, and have a very lovely weekend and day ahead. Thank you so much, guys. You enjoy your day. Bye-bye.